What's up, everybody? This is your girl Tiffany coming to you with that quick video. This video is going to be a review and comparison video. This video is going to be comparison on the MAC concealer palette and the NYX concealer palette. As you can see, I have them in both of the dark shades. This is the dark palette by MAC, and this is the deep palette by NYX, which is the darkest palette. This ranges for $11.99. You can always get this buy one get one either half off, or sometimes you might be able to get one like BOGO get one free. Maybe not the new products, but some of the older products from Ulta. I did buy mine from Ulta, but my local beauty supply also has these too, and that was the first place that I saw them, was my local beauty supply, but I wasn't as interested then, but I ended up picking it up at Ulta. So anyway, I've had this one for the longest. As you can see, I've hit pan on a lot of the colors that are in here. Now, in this Pro Conceal and Correct palette in Dark by MAC, we have NC45, NW45, Ochre, which is a color correcting shade. Then we have NW45, NW55, which is only sold in this palette, and Pure Orange. Now, all of these you can get at MAC in the individual single pots like this, but these range $19 a piece. This entire palette is $40, and you're getting 6 concealers. Now, I will include this in my comparison. I find that over time with me using this palette, they say that these formulas are exactly the same. With me working with both of these, I have to be honest and say they are not. The colors may be, no, honestly, the colors are not even the same. Just to be honest, if the NC45 and the NW45 in this are not the same as the NC45 and the NW45 in this, because I have both of them, I swatched both of them, and they don't look the same. They're similar, but they are not the same. Also, the consistency of the formula is not the same either. This is a much thicker and more full coverage concealer. It's very opaque, very rich and creamy. Now, this in the Pro Conceal palette, it's more oil based, should I say. It's thick and creamy, but it's very waxy feeling. It's not as thick as these are, okay, this formula. So I don't know, it's like they kind of sheared this formula down in comparison to this. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I do like the formula, but it is not the exact same thing as this. It's not. I do like this palette because it gives me more things to work with. I can do all my color correcting and highlighting straight from this palette. I do love that. I'm actually interested in getting another one. I am going to say that this is not a product that I wouldn't repurchase, because once I use all of these colors, I'm definitely going to buy another one because I obviously used it a lot. I use the orange for color correcting dark spots in the skin, any hyperpigmentation, but it's very, very opaque. It's very orange. So you do have to go in with a light hand with this. Then the ochre shade, I like, now that I'm getting more into the color correcting, I like working with the ochre color, which is the yellow base, a lot more, in this, the particular one in this shade, a lot more than the orange because of the brightness of the orangeness. The NW55, of course, I use that for contouring. The NC45 and the NW45, I use that for my brows. This entire palette, the other colors I use for my brows. I do sometimes use them if I'm in a rush for my under eye highlights, when I don't need my makeup to stay on all day, because this does crease very heavily. Okay, so the NYX palette I've been using for a few weeks now. I don't know if it's been a few weeks. It seemed like it's been a few weeks. But you guys know that I did recently haul this. And I hope you checked out this video. If not, it will be below. Now, this is the NYX Conceal, Correct, and Contour palette. In this palette, they don't separate the shades and separate and name the shades like the MAC palette does. It just says deep. So the darkest shade in here is this one. Then it has an orange one and a yellow. Now, the MAC yellow color corrector per se, I wouldn't necessarily call this a yellow. It's like a more of an olive if you can see the difference. Okay. The yellow, however, in the NYX is very, very yellow, which I like because I use it for a highlight. So that's the MAC ochre, and this is NYX's yellow. And as you can see, they are not the same. So that was the reason why I wasn't interested at first when I first saw these released at That Beauty Supply, because I'm like, oh, I got the MAC one and I'll get the MAC one, you know, whatever. So I'm just like, I don't need that. But then I started watching the reviews, and then I'm like, okay, well, let me just try it. And it was BOGO for another product. So I was like, okay, forget it. Now let me tell you why I love this palette. The consistency of the concealers in the NYX palette are very thick and creamy. They are like the Studio Finish formula in this palette. Whereas, like I said, remember I said these are very thinned out and very creamy, which are nice, but I like the thick consistency of these. And this palette is not like that. Now, to each his own. That's just me. That's just how I like the concealers. If I want a full coverage concealer, I like my concealers to be very thick and creamy, and let me share them out. Okay. So these concealers are the exact same thickness and consistency. They're very just thick. I love it. Okay. It doesn't feel cheap or waxy or oily. I hate oily feeling concealers. That's what it is. These feel very oily. These feel very, very oily, whereas these don't, and these don't. Okay. If you look at them, you can see how these are very shiny and oily, and these are like matte. So that's the difference. Okay. Now, this is the dark shade in the NYX. I'm going to swatch. And then this is the NW55 in the MAC. So those are about the same, but as you can see, the consistency, these are very thick. This is very oil-based, or thinned out, should I say. Now, I still use that as a contouring shade. And then the orange, I'll swatch that one. So this is the orange in the MAC palette. As you can see, it's very, very bright and opaque. And this is the orange in the NYX concealer palette, where as you can see, it's more of a toned down orange. And honestly, I like the orange in the NYX palette better. Then let's compare. Now these three shades, however, are lighter than the other three shades that are in the MAC palette. So that's one thing that I can't say. These shades, I can't use these for brow highlights. They're a little bit too bright. So that's what those look like. And then here's now the shade that I do like to use for a brow highlight is this one here. But it's when I really want a really, really bright highlight. Okay, so those are three other colors in the NYX palette. Then so those are the other three colors in the MAC palette. And these are the colors in the NYX palette. So definitely the colors in the MAC palette are more warm and more chocolate girl friendly, I would say. So I'll swatch the NYX ones, and then I'll swatch the MAC ones. So against my skin tone, as you can see, these are the NYX. And see how thick and very creamy and matte they are? But they're bright. And then look at how dark the MAC ones are. See, I will be able to work more with these colors than these. So that's the bad thing that I can't say about the NYX palette. The MAC one is more dark skin friendly. But the consistency, you can even see in the consistency. This is MAC and this is NYX. I like the opaqueness of this one, but I like the colors in this one. So overall, I will say that I'm gonna make this a 20-minute video about just a comparison. But overall, I would say if I was to repurchase any one of these, it would definitely be the MAC one first. But honestly, I would probably repurchase both because I like the warmth. I like the colors in this, but I like the consistency of this. So I would probably do the MAC one first because I can work with the colors more so. This one, I find that I'll probably just be working with these 3 colors here. Whereas with this palette, I can work with all the colors. So MAC wins, not because I'm biased, but honestly, as you can see, the proof is in the swatches. You can see how they were against my skin tone. Those were much lighter. These were much more warm to my skin tone. I could work more with those colors that were in the MAC palette. So, yeah, definitely my MAC palette. But I still would repurchase both of them, though, because I like the consistency of this. But if I had to choose between one, it would be this one. So I hope you guys enjoyed my quick comparison video. I hope it wasn't too long for you guys. I just wanted to get this out for you before I get settled into my robe, because it's just one of those days. And stay tuned for more reviews and videos to come. Bye.